All right, let's jump right into a really cool chapter from A Scout's Honor. We're going to look at this one moment where a classic teenage prank, well, it smacks right into the stark reality of wartime America. It's all about what happens when kids being kids get seriously complicated by grown-up responsibilities.
Okay, so picture this. You're a Boy Scout. You're heading to your weekly meeting, probably thinking about knots or camping. And then, bam, everything just stops. And this one question starts to float around. What if this isn't a drill? That's the moment a totally normal night gets really tense, really fast. And that's exactly where we're dropping in.
So with no warning at all, the air race sirens just start screaming, streetlights snap off, you can hear people shouting, "Get inside!" And this group of Boy Scouts, their plans are totally out the window. Now it's a mad dash to their Scoutmaster's house to take cover.
Once they're inside, the vibe is different. You know that loud, chaotic energy of a bunch of kids at a scout meeting? Gone. Just gone. Instead, there's this quiet, thick tension in the air. Their Scoutmaster, a guy named Mr. Telford, he's trying to keep a lid on it, trying to be the calm adult in the room, but you can just feel the unease.
So, to try and get some control back, the patrol leader, Wayne, gets everyone to recite the Scout Oath. And you have to remember, during the war, an oath like this meant everything. It was a promise, a piece of stability in a really unstable time. So they're all reciting these powerful words about honor and duty. But, and this is the kicker, for 3 of these kids, it's all just background noise. They're using these solemn words as cover for a little secret they're about to spring on everyone.
Right, so while everyone else is rightfully worried about a possible air raid, these 3 guys, they've got something else entirely on their minds. A little plan, a prank that is completely disconnected from the seriousness of what's happening outside.
You can almost hear it, right? That little whisper between Wayne, Leo, and Buddy. We still doing this? I mean, just think about it for a second. The whole town is on high alert for an enemy attack. And in this little flickering firelight, you've got this timeless, unstoppable force, teenage mischief. And yeah, they decide to go for it.
And the plan couldn't be simpler, really. The blackout? Perfect cover. All they have to do is uncap this tiny little vial of something that smells, well, awful, and just let it rip. They figure the whole thing will be over before anybody even realizes what's happening.
So, with the fire crackling and everyone talking in low voices, Wayne makes his move. He quietly uncaps the vial, a few drops spill onto the floor, and that's it. The trap is set. And whoa, the effect is instant. 1 second, you've got that nice, cozy, smoky smell of the fireplace. The next, it's completely wiped out by this chemical, rotten egg bomb of a stench that just hangs in the air. The room just explodes with groans, and what is that? The prank, by all accounts, is a massive, smelly success.
Then comes the moment of truth. Mrs. Telford walks in. Her voice just cuts through all the noise. What in the world is that smell? Mr. Telford's eyes sweep the room, and you know how it is. They land right on Wayne, Leo, and Buddy, who are trying so hard not to laugh and failing miserably. Yep, the gig is up.
And just like that, the high from pulling off the prank is gone. Poof. Now it's time to face the music. And their Scoutmaster, he sees this as a teachable moment, one that's about way more than just tying knots or setting up a tent.
Mr. Telford's punishment is, you gotta admit, pretty perfect. First, they have to help clean up the mess they made, right then and there. But the real sting comes later, latrine duty, for the entire week of summer camp. That's a punishment that's definitely going to give them a lot of time to think about what they did.
And he does this thing called the Scoutmaster's Minute. He doesn't yell, he doesn't scream, he just talks to them calmly and gets right to the point of what it actually means to be a scout. He tells them, look, it's not about just saying the words in the oath, it's about living those words. It's about being trustworthy, being kind, and most of all, taking responsibility for what you do. And to really hammer it home, he has the whole troop recite the 12 points of the Scout Law together. So imagine this. The room fills with words like trustworthy, helpful, kind, and the irony is just dripping. Our 3 pranksters have to stand there and say the very words that spell out the code they just completely and very smellily broke. Finally, the blackout is over. The all-clear sounds, the streetlights start to flicker back to life, and the boys start their walk home. But the mood has totally shifted. All that wild, goofy energy is gone. Now, it's just quiet. A really thoughtful kind of silence. You can almost feel that change, can't you? The thrill of the prank lasted, what, a few minutes? But the reality of their punishment?
The latrine duty, that disappointed look on their Scoutmaster's face, that feels real, and it's going to stick around for a while. The fun was fast, but the consequence has some staying power.
This is where we get to the heart of it, the why. Wayne finally explains it. It wasn't just about getting a laugh. Think about their world. It's all about war and ration stamps and worrying about who's going to get drafted. Everything is decided for them. This stupid, smelly prank, it was their one little act of rebellion. The one thing they could choose to do. The one thing that was just theirs.
And that's really what this whole chapter leaves us chewing on, isn't it? It takes this simple prank and puts it right in the middle of all this wartime pressure. And it makes you ask, when does a harmless prank stop being harmless? Where's that line between a dumb joke and something that actually matters? It's a really powerful look at honor, responsibility, and that very human need to feel like you're in control, especially when the world around you feels like it's spinning out